Hello, I'm back. This is Brian with ZimCo Survival, and today I'm talking about an oldie but a goodie. Now, there are plenty of people who've done reviews on this product, and that is the Coghlans Fire Lighters. So I'm not the first. This isn't a new product by any means. I just decided to go ahead and kind of share my opinions with you guys about it. This is something I've used for a very long time. This is not something that I've just purchased to experiment with or anything like that. I have quite a bit of experience with these. And in my opinion, they are still, even though there are better options, and I'll be doing reviews on those soon, there are better, newer options. I wouldn't say better, but newer options as far as, strikeable tinders go. I still prefer these. Let me go ahead and pull them out of the box here and show them to you. Basically, they are a strikeable tinder. What that means is they're like a match. They have a match head on them, but the match head, instead of using that itself to start the fire, what you're doing is using it to start the tinder, and then using the tinder to start the fire. Now, the strike faces on the side of the box is a strike on the box kind of system. You do get 20 in the box. Let's see if I can show it to you. 20. So in my experience, over the vast period of time I've been using these, I do carry some in my bag. This isn't my first go-to option. This isn't, it's more of an emergency thing. I carry these for the rare instances where I'm unable to find any kind of good tinders. This tends to happen more so around storm times or when it's been really wet and I just can't get things to light because the tinders are just too wet. The problem with tinder is because it's small and fluffy and compacted, small and fluffy, it tends to absorb water really easily and it will get really damp very quickly, even in humid environments. It may not even be raining, it might just be humid, and that's enough to make it too wet to light. So in the rare instances where I cannot get stuff to light, I do use these. Now, this is a box I've had for quite some time, and there is some still left. To give you guys an example of just how often I use them, that I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've used 14 of them. It's not something that I use all the time. I'm going to be brutally honest about that. But at the same time, it is something that I consider valuable enough to do a review on. And there are new versions made by UCO, and I will be doing reviews on those here soon, probably in the next week or so. But as far as lightable tinders go, I still prefer these, and I'll probably do a comparison video on these versus the UCOs and kind of show you guys why. But as far as getting into the review goes, let me go ahead and open these back up here and show them to you. They're basically a compressed paper. You can kind of see there, it's a compressed kind of paper. It's very fluffy. When you break them apart, a lot of people complain about breaking them apart and how they fall apart. And that's because when I've seen other people use them, they try to break them apart like that and they pull down. That's not how you break these apart. You break them apart by twisting side to side like this, and it pops right off. And what it'll do is it'll create this nice fluffed section on either side. And that's valuable, and I'll show you guys why right now. Strike it, and you use that fluffed portion, hot, to actually light the tinder. The match head does burn very, very hot. So keep an eye on that. Now, when you want to actually light it, I find the best way to do it is to hold it kind of at an angle like this. You don't want it to be too much of an angle, or it'll have a tendency to burn all the way down to your fingers before you can put it onto a fire. But there you have it. Now, once these things are completely lit, as you can see, we have a little bit of a breeze going. Once these things are fully lit, they are fairly wind resistant. I wouldn't call them windproof. You can certainly blow them out if you blow hard enough, but your average breeze will not be enough. And as you can see, they burn quite well. They light easily, they burn well, they burn for 6 minutes. See? They burn for 6 minutes, which makes them a good option for starting, you know, twigs and things on fire by skipping the tinder, which is how I use these. If my tinder is too wet, it's not taking it's not lighting well, then I just skip the tinder altogether. I use this as my tinder and go straight to twigs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that here in just a minute. In fact, why don't we go ahead and do that now, and I will come back and kind of finish up this review for you guys. It should be fairly short and simple, but let's go ahead and demonstrate them, and we'll be right back. So as you can see, basic little fire lay. I just made sure that I had enough room down here to actually stick the match. I'm not doing anything complicated because I wanted to show you guys kind of what I would expect most people to make. We can't expect everyone to be experts on fire prep, so I'm showing a more generalized example of what I would consider more normal fire prep. So let's go ahead and light one of these up. I love how easily they light and how easily they continue to burn. How little time it actually takes to make them light. But let's see if I can show it to you. There we go. We got it lit. And basically what we're going to do is we're just going to take it, we're going to slide it down in there. And now you'll be able to see how easily I've found it actually gets these twigs and stuff to light. Now, in this particular instance, these twigs are not dry, but they are not wet. They're kind of that mediocre dampness that I find really annoying. So I figured it was perfect time to actually show you guys how I tend to use them. But alright. So some of the twigs are starting to catch. Now, like I said, these will burn for 6 minutes. There are tinders that will burn longer, but I find that these are the most compact, easiest to use, easiest to light, keep lit, which is why I prefer them. There you are. The fire is basically lit at this point. If I take the tinder away, the sticks will be burning on their own. So, honestly, awesome little tinder. Never had a problem with them. So far, fingers crossed, I haven't had any cases where they've actually let me down. Let me go ahead and just move this and kind of show you guys. See? The fire is burning on its own even without the tinder. So even though these things are damp, and I don't know if you guys can hear them crackling and popping and stuff like that, but these twigs are damp. And this thing does burn very hot. It burns hot enough that it will burn you pretty quickly if you're not careful with them. And hot enough to actually get damp twigs to light without any other tinder sources. So overall, great little product. But let's go ahead and get back to the chair really quick, and I'll finish up this review. Be right back. And we are back. Now, hopefully you guys were able to see over there in the demonstration that they will light damp tinders or damp twigs and things by, even though you can completely skip the tinder prepping portion of the fire. But what I really like about them is how compact they are. They're nice and small. How easy they light and stay lit versus the other ones that I've used in the past, which didn't exactly stay lit very easily and had a tendency to go out very quickly. These ones, they don't seem to do that. When you strike them, they light and they stay lit. I think over the years I've only had a handful of times where these have actually gone out on me, where they didn't actually, you know, I struck them and the match head didn't light the tinder. Where the other options, that didn't happen. More often than not, you'd strike the match head and the tinder wouldn't strike either. Wouldn't ignite. So I've always just continued to use these. And price-wise, they are very affordable in comparison. I think they're going to range you about $7 to $8 on Amazon for a box. And if you are lucky enough to have a sporting store near you, you can probably find them there. I find these at Sportsman's Warehouse, which is the sporting store I have near me, and they're about $4 a box there. But I do love these things. They have a 5 out of 5 for me. Absolutely fantastic. They light very easily, very quickly. The match heads and stuff. That box over there that you saw is a couple years old, and it still takes a, you know, strikes up first shot every time. So normally I'm not a fan of Coghlans with, you know, their quality, because I find that a lot of their other camping stuff tends to be fairly cheap quality. But these are actually really good. They stand toe to toe with UCO and other high-end manufacturers, no problem. And the other people haven't managed to make one better than this. So I still use them, even though they're cheaper than the other ones and supposedly worse quality. But they still get a 5 out of 5 from me. They are awesome little fire starters. If you are looking at finding a strikeable tinder source for your bags or for your hiking or just use around the house, these are really good. You should take a look at them. As always, in all my videos, you can find a product link in the description, an affiliate link that will take you straight to the product on Amazon. So, you know, you guys can find it there for yourselves. You won't have to do any searching or anything like that. But in my opinion, pick one of these up. If you're making an emergency kit, car kit, anything like that, go ahead and pick these up. You won't regret it. They are an awesome little fire starter. But there you have it. That's my review. If you guys have any questions or concerns, leave a comment below. And as always, like this video and subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.